The idea came from the band, in fact. They listed the Mighty Boosh as a reference for a possible creative partner for a video, and I reached out to Julian, whom I know through Warp Films, and he wrote an amazing treatment.
The inspiration for the treatment came from, at the time I was just watching a lot of these films by Fassbinder and also some Roy Andersson sort of films I was watching of. Another thing I liked was a film by Fabrice de Weltz, which is a horror film called The Ordeal, which is a really good sort of strange, macabre film, but with some really interesting sort of movement and dance sort of bits in it, which I really liked. And that was sort of nicked all that basically. I mean, I'm always trying to do a thing between sort of comedy and horror, really. Because you've got a very strong sort of flavour or something there with the music. It's quite fun then to offset that with bleak imagery. I didn't want it to be any particular place exactly, but I suppose it's kind of Eastern Europe, but also the club felt a bit like a 70s working man's club, but it is a 70s working man's club, so but I didn't really want it to be able to be pinned down, but just not now or not here. I like the idea of non-dancers, so anything that looked too much like dancing, proper dancing, I try to get rid of. And I wanted it to just look like people who can't dance sort of suddenly dancing. And you got a kind of a basic series of quite amateur-y but all odd moves, and I wanted them to just do sort of things that you don't see people do very much.
So we're still going to the same sort of so maybe it's like that, and then sort of to get to that. And if anyone can sort of do that,
What when you get back in?
I didn't want to sort of send them up, these people, somehow, and it's sort of funny, but I also find it quite sort of moving to see old people dancing in a way. I mean, not all of them are old, you know, I can't say that, but some of the older folk, and they're sort of, you know, busting their kind of elegant moves. I like that. We had a lot of fun sort of framing the shots, making, you know, the symmetry of shots, and at the beginning anyway, especially, and just having this very symmetrical Kubrick sort of, or Roy Andersson style sort of symmetry to things. Eric Wilson DP brought so much to the process. I mean, I just basically want to learn from Eric. You know, I'd happily just watch him, you know, shooting things, because I'm just very interested in how he manages to do that, and how him and you know, the lighting people manage to sort of create such a sort of an image. So I'm not a photographer, you know, but I sort of want things to look a certain way, but he's got a very good eye.
So for the performance part of it, we used older video cameras, High 8, VHS-C, Video 8, to create a look that is hard to achieve in post-production. That it's a lot easier, I think, to shoot it the way you want it. Ideally, we'd like to use tube cameras, but that turned out to be, that would be a big expense to do, so we ended up using simpler methods and some old filters to get the lovely star.
I really enjoyed the process of filming it and making it, and then working with great people and being very inspired, and then getting into the edit and finding that, you know, a lot of things that I'd wanted to do, I had to sort of rethink stuff, you know. That's sort of part. It's basically the learning curve of sort of someone who hadn't directed much. So that was the sort of the slightly more painful side of things, is after it was all shot, and I was confronted with what you know, it's like making a meal, and I'd gone to the supermarket and thought I'd got everything I needed to cook. You know, chicken with orange, but I'd forgotten the orange.